The season shifts in a single headline. When Jett hears that the Thorns have signed a new player, she expects power, someone towering, dominant, another force to reinforce her reign. Instead, the announcement reveals Will, small, unproven, smiling like he just won the lottery. Jett doesn't see potential, she sees liability. She storms into Flo's office to protest the decision, unaware that Will is sitting only a few feet away. Every frustrated word lands on him. By the time she notices his presence, the damage is done. Her idol status crumbles in his eyes. At the first press conference, they sit side by side beneath flashing cameras. Jett frames her criticism as concern, speaking about protecting rookies and not rushing development, but the undertone is sharp enough for everyone to hear. Will forces a polite smile. The locker room feels colder after that. Coach Dennis Cooper, a calm, observant proboscis monkey, welcomes Will warmly, but Jett makes it clear who controls the floor. When the season opens, Will barely leaves the bench. The Thorns stumble through loss after loss, their chemistry strained and their rhythm non-existent. Desperate to reclaim some dignity, Will challenges Jett to a one-on-one. If he wins, she lets him play. The match isn't close. Jett dismantles him with clinical precision, reinforcing the hierarchy she refuses to loosen. But the season doesn't wait for pride. On a grueling road trip, fatigue sets in. During a heated matchup, Jett argues a call too aggressively and picks up a technical foul that forces her to sit. The arena buzzes as Will finally steps onto the court. At first, opponents underestimate him. That becomes their mistake. His size turns into invisibility, his speed becomes disruption. He slips through defenders, creates impossible angles, opens the floor in ways the Thorns haven't seen all year. By the final buzzer, they've secured their first win. The locker room is stunned. Quietly, Will reminds Jett of one uncomfortable truth. They won when she wasn't there. Tension peaks during a promotional shoot meant to symbolically pass the torch. Jett refuses. She rejects the idea of stepping aside, insisting she is still the GOAT and her body refuses the language of succession. When Will again mentions the win without her, frustration explodes. He pulls her away from cameras and reporters, shielding her from the chaos. In that quiet moment, Jett cracks. She confesses the weight she carries, the memory of the infamous furball game, a final match she believes she mishandled, the moment that ignited her obsession with control. Winning became armor, losing became unthinkable. Will takes her to a small diner plastered with Thorns memorabilia. He tells her about the town, about how the community rallied around him after Louise passed, how the team isn't just a franchise but a heartbeat. For the first time, Jett sees beyond trophies. That night she goes live with Maine, who expects another easy jab. Instead, Jett defends her team fiercely. She calls out Maine's arrogance, then praises every teammate by name, lifting their confidence. Most importantly, she publicly gives Coach Dennis full authority. The reset begins. Dennis reshapes the team philosophy. Lenny learns to dominate the paint with his height. Archie channels the protective instinct he has for his daughters into fearless defense. Olivia silences her phone and rediscovers focus. Moto embraces unpredictability as strategy instead of chaos. Wins start stacking. The Thorns begin to look like a unit rather than satellites orbiting Jett. Then, just before the semifinal, everything fractures again. Will accidentally overhears Flo revealing a secret plan to relocate the Thorns and replace the entire roster. Shocked, he urges Jett to tell the team. She refuses, fearing it will derail their momentum. But during the high-stakes game, with pressure mounting, Will blurts out the truth. The team unravels mid-match. Emotions surge. Jett responds the only way she knows how, by taking over. She plays hero ball, even stealing one of Will's open scoring chances to secure the win. They advance, but the locker room splinters. Will nearly walks away from it all. Jett finds him alone on the practice court. This time, there are no cameras, no pride. She apologizes, truly. Fear of losing her legacy blinded her. The championship claw trophy mattered more than trust. Saying it out loud breaks something open between them. Together they gather the team. The honesty resets the bond. One final run. In the championship against the Magmas, the game is brutal from tip-off. Maine plays dirty, testing tempers. In a critical moment, Jett shields Will from a crushing hit and injures her leg. Archie retaliates in fury, slamming into Maine and getting him benched. Jett refuses to leave despite the pain. Seconds remain. Down by one. Dennis calls the final play. The ball finds Jett, but instead of forcing the shot, she passes. Trust, at last, outweighs ego. Will sees the opening, rises at the buzzer, and sinks it clean. The arena erupts. The Thorns are champions. Flo tries to seize the spotlight, but Archie's fierce daughters chase her off in a burst of poetic justice. As uncertainty looms over the team's future, Moto reveals he has secured ownership and will keep the Thorns in Vinen. Relief sweeps through the city. In the final celebration, beneath roaring cheers, Jett takes the microphone and names Will the true GOAT, not for the shot, not for the stats, but for restoring the team's heart. As the crowd chants his name, the small rookie who was once doubted stands at center court. Dream fulfilled, not because he replaced a legend, but because he helped one grow. And that's how the story ends. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more videos.